Hello and welcome to my first attempt at doing a Flight Sim 2020 video, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I've had this 10 days or so. I managed to get it for £1 with the Xbox Beta Pass, which is you pay a monthly subscription, which is £1 a month at the moment. And the standard edition of this game comes as part of that. So yeah, I've paid £1 and I have Microsoft Flight Simulator. It was a 128 gig download, and obviously this is the smallest version. They do a deluxe version and a premium deluxe or something, which has even more content, more aircraft, more properly rendered airports, etc. But yeah, for £1, I can't complain at this. I've had a few goes at it, not that many though. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. I've watched a couple of YouTube videos as well, so we're going to try a short flight on this, just to see how we get on. We'll try and do it reasonably close to how a proper pilot would do it, using the instruments in an airliner. So yeah, I don't have a decent controller. I'm using this PS4 controller. The controls are very sensitive on it for flight simming, which I've found. I've crashed a few times, but we'll see how we get on. So please don't criticise how badly I land the plane. The realism on this is set so that if I land badly, the plane will be destroyed. So it's you know, if I do manage to land okay, then yeah, I'll be pleased with that. Right, so what I want to do, I'm going to just do a very short flight. Well, I say short, it'll probably take longer once we've done everything. I'm going to go from Stansted Airport, because we love Essex, to Paris, Charles De Gaulle in Paris. So obviously when you load Flight Sim, you've got these. I don't want to do any landing challenges or activities or flight training. I'm just going to go to the world map. This is where you do your flights. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to what a lot of other people are doing. They're using SimBrief, which is a website, to do their flight planning for them, because this isn't as good doing it on here apparently. So let's go to SimBrief. Right, here we are on SimBrief. It's a completely free tool, simbrief.com. You just got to create a login, and we're going to do a new flight here. Okay, so we'll go to the dispatch system. We will go to a new flight. Okay, so we're going from Stansted, which is EGSS. You can Google these airport codes, or you can find them in Flight Sim. And Charles de Gaulle, I googled that already. That's LFPG, which is there. Okay, so that will already start generating our airframe. We're flying in an A320 Airbus. Okay, I'm going to leave all this on auto. What I do like doing is unticking these. So I like the flight plan to show the top of the climb and the top of the descent. Okay, our altitude that we're going to cruise at is set to auto. So depending on the distance and the direction, whether it's east to west or west to east, this will choose it for us. So we're departing Stansted at runway 22. And basically the runway number is the direction it's facing. So 22 is 220 degrees, and the other option is 4, which would be 40 degrees. So we know that Stansted's only got one runway, and 22 and 4 are either ends, and we're going to arrive at Charles de Gaulle on 27 left. Okay, here's the route it's plotted for us already. I'm not going to do what most simmers do and manually enter all this into the FMS. I'm going to cheat in this instance, but we'll have to do a couple of things in the FMS. Okay, here's our map. Obviously, if we're landing at runway 27, we're going to be going in a east to west direction, so this approach is just taking us to the middle of the runway. So we're going to have to figure out what star we're going to use, which is a standard terminal arrival route. But we can do that when we're in flight, and what that'll do is probably take us round here and down and into the airport that way, if we choose the right one. Okay, so the reason I've got unticked all these, I'll show you now. If we generate the flight plan, which apparently is very much like an actual flight plan, a real pilot would be given. Okay, so this is all our information there. This is our route, as you can see, out of Stansted, across Tilbury, down to Dover, and then round here. So yeah, bit of a strange route. This dashed line is our standby airport, so we'll probably go to Brussels. Here's our flight plan. The important things I want from here is the cost index. We feed that into the FMS. That's about how much fuel we're going to burn, I think. And what I like looking at is, this is the route in the flight log. Okay, we come out of Stansted. TOC is the top of the climb. So we should get to flight level 250 or 25,000 feet at this waypoint. And if we go down a bit further, we've got TOD. That's at Beaver 5. Okay, before we get to Colive. So that's when I know to start the descent. Right. Okay, I'm not going to put all the wind information, everything into the FMS because I can't be bothered. I'm just going to wing it. So I'm pretty new to this, as you know. Right. So this is our flight plan we're going to go for. So what I will do is down here I will download the FMS. I will download it. There we go. So you can do X-Plane or whatever sim you're playing. Okay, but obviously this is Flight Simulator 2020. So we'll download that. And there we go, it's downloaded there. So now we will switch back to the game. Okay. So, from the world map, let's load and save. And we'll load our plan. We're looking downloads, and there's the most recent plan there. That's the one we've just exported. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty much like the routes we were doing. So we won't start the runway, we'll start at a departure gate. God, I wish I could see this. Okay, so we're going to start at a departure gate. That means we'll have the aircraft cold and dark. Right, okay, so, the last thing, we're going to fly the Airbus, but what airline we're going to choose? Let's go to Liveries. I mean, I think appropriately, as I'm having a drink, we should probably choose British Airways, the notorious drunk pilots. So this is a free livery pack I downloaded. So we've got quite a lot here. Come on, British Airways. I wish there was a search feature on this, but it doesn't appear to be. I've probably gone past it now, my luck. There we go, British Airways. Bankrupt British Airways. Right, okay, so there we go. There's Lots of other things I could have taken from the flight plan, like the fuel or anything, but I'm not going to bother. It's such a short flight. I'm just really not going to bother with it. Okay, so we've got our aircraft. That's British Airways. Because it's quite late in the evening, it's going to be a night flight. That'll be a pretty boring watching. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose live weather, but I'm going to just change the time to like yeah, about 1:45 in the afternoon. And we'll go for live weather. Okay. Oh, we got. I don't want any other players on here as well. At all. So we have live air traffic. Okay. So here's our flight plan. The only thing we've got to do is our arrival into Charles De Gaulle. But we'll do that once we're airborne. So let's go fly and see how we get on. Right, here we go. Okay, the game's loaded. Showing us a pretty sort of cloudy Stansted. And it looks like I've been parked up at some weird lay-by. Bloody hell. How am I supposed to get out of that? Yeah, okay. Right. Well. Yeah, looks like I'm in a remote parking area in an overflow car park, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, so here I am in my cockpit. Okay, as you can see, I'll scroll around here. Everything's off. Okay. So it doesn't look like we've got even power from the ground either. So I think I've chosen the wrong gate to start off with. So what we're going to need to do is fire our APU up, and every airplane, every modern airliner has an APU. It's an engine right at the back of the plane, the tail, underneath the rudders and everything. That's just really a power generator, and it pumps air through for the air conditioning until the main engines are on. So right, let's have a look at the above panel here. Wow, look, I've got external power. There's a generator truck near me. Okay, right. So I was wrong. So the first thing we do is turn our batteries on. Okay, and then I will, before my batteries run out, I will ask for external power. That should come on. Yeah, I can hear some buzzing there. If we look down, our instruments have all come on. This is not accurately modelled at the moment, although I've got the improved Airbus A320 pack. I've got the standard version. They're working on this improved version. You've got to have the IRS to align, which takes a few minutes before these can all be calibrated and working. But at the moment, it's yeah, they work instantly. Okay, well, we got power anyway. So what we need to do, let's go to across here. The first thing we need to do is push our altitude up to 25,000 feet, flight level 250. Okay, because we want to get to that altitude. The computer will get us in small stepped altitudes, but it doesn't, doesn't work that well unless you have your cruising altitude pumped in there. Right. So this is our flight plan. This is our flight management computer. We want to initialize this. Okay, it's already got our departing airport and destination airport in there because I haven't been inputting it manually. I cheekily imported it. It's got our cruising altitude there. Cost index it hasn't got. I believe that was 51. So we'll type 51, push that into the cost index. So flight number, I don't know what my flight number would be, it's 666. If you're a real hard simmer, you'd put a genuine flight number in there. Okay, this is it for that. We click F plan. That shows you our flight plan. We're departing from Stansted runway 22, and you click up to scroll down on this. Basically, up means push it up one. And here's our flight plan going down here. Going to Bibax, and one of these is our top of descent, and then we have a deceleration, and then straight to Charles de Gaulle. We haven't yet got an arrival route for that. We can probably do that now, actually. So what we do, we click that, and we click arrival. And I've forgotten what runway. I think it's 20. What was the runway? Oh, I'm sure it was 27 left, but obviously that's not an option on here. Maybe it's... yeah, interesting. Okay, let's go for 9 right then. Just hope that's a reasonable size one. So I'll click 9 right. Our star, let's choose our star. We're doing Bibax, aren't we? So it'll be one of these. Let's just scroll through them. This is our arrival route, which route we'll do going round. Well, the only one that looks familiar is Bibax, which is on our route, so we'll choose one of those. It's probably be the wrong one, but we'll do it anyway. And it might just be a slightly longer approach than we wanted. I don't know which one of these to choose, so I'm going to just choose the top one. This is our arrival routes, and none of these are familiar, so I'm going to do no vias. And I'm going to insert that into the flight plan. So that's there. Okay, well I can show you how we can have a look at that. If we zoom out a bit and scroll up here. Oh, up here. Actually, no, I'll have to do it this way. We can put that to plan, and we can see our plan there. On this screen here, we'll change the range. Oh. We can see we're going to go around there, along there. I don't know what we're doing there. It's probably completely wrong, but we can skip forward in here to our flight plan and scroll down to near where we are. And then go back up and look at that. Right, so we're going down here. We're going to go round and in. Okay, looks like a pretty meaty approach there. Okay, so let's go back to our FMS. The last thing we do is in the perf before takeoff. I'm going to take off with flaps at 1. The THS bit isn't modelled, so I'm just going to click flaps 1. The flex 2 temp, there's a website you can calculate that. I'm not going to bother in this video. I'm just going to choose 66. That's been the last couple. It's probably wrong, but that's basically to do with the air temperature around you and how much the engine can be retarded in order to not lose performance and but still give you the right amount of thrust, so you can save on fuel and noise. So there's a website I'll put in the description where you can put your departure airport, your landing airport, and it will calculate that for you. Okay, right, I think we're transition altitude. That's when you go from one barometric pressure to the standard one. I'm not even going to bother with this. Something you should do, I haven't really been bothered to find out what the barometric pressure is at Stansted. Probably told me on the flight plan, but I'm not going to bother. Okay, but in Europe, you change from the whatever barometric pressure it is, depending on the airport, elevation, above sea level, and etc., etc. That's when you transition to standard barometric pressure. In Europe, it's always 6,000, so I'll put that in. America is like 18,000, something horrific. Right, I think we're done on here. What I mean by I'm not going to bother is if we go back up to the instruments here, you can see here the altimeter is 2992. In Europe, we use HPA. How do I change that? There's a way to change it. Oh, I can't remember how to do it on here, but I'm not really going to bother with it for now. Oh, there we go. That's how you do it. Just click there. So that's the barometric pressure of our airport, but in fact, actually there is a way to do that in here. Okay, let's see if we can do it from within the game. Let's go to the air traffic control, the comms, and we tune the ATIS, which is the weather service.
Stansted Airport Information, Whiskey
1100 Zulu.
Wind 252 at 14. Visibility 6. Sky condition, few clouds.
1100, is that it?
At 4,200 feet, few clouds at 12,100 feet. Temperature 15. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.009er. ILS runway 22 in use.
Oh, well, I heard altimeter.
Landing and departing runway 22.
3009, right, so I'm getting the American version.
All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact.
Oh, and I've forgotten what it was, so let's flick this back. 3, and it's 3002, I think it was. I don't know if this shows us our previous messages. No, it doesn't. Oh, well, that's what you do. I've probably not remembered it, but I'll do 3003 at the moment. And after 6,000 feet, we reset that to 2992. Okay, right. So we've got our flight plan in. We've got a really weird approach going on because I've just randomly chosen the wrong one. I'm British Airways, so I'm going to have a swig of wine. Naturally. Okay, so let's go back up to the top here. So let's get our APU going. So which is our power generator at the back of the plane. So we click APU master on. Okay, and then we wait 3 seconds and we click start. And then if we go back down to here, the APU, we can see the engine there. We want this to go up to 10. This bit here is the exhaust gas temperature. Obviously that will go down a bit once this gets going. This isn't fixed yet because I haven't got bleed on. What APU bleed is so it can let some of the air through that it pushes through, so we can use that for the air conditioning and the rest of the plane. The APU, when you get on a plane, the APU is normally on. That's why even though the engines aren't started, you can hear a sort of engine-y noise. That's the APU right at the back of the plane. It's the like generator. Okay, while we're waiting for the APU, we will let's see what lights we need to put on. Nav and logo light we'll put on. Beacon light on. Strobe lights are set to auto, that's fine. What have we got down here? Runway turn lights. No, we're not turning on the runway. Landing lights. Oh, I can't see, my camera's in the way. turn them on because we'll need them on anyway when we're taking off. And nose lights, we'll set that to taxi. We'll be taxiing soon. Okay. These don't work yet. The temperature for the cabin and everything. Obviously, they do work in the beta version of this add-on, but I haven't got that. So let's go back to the eCam, which is this. This is the eCam, and this here looks like our APU is on. So now we're generating our own electricity. We can turn the bleed on, which will give power to our air conditioning and everything. You can hear the pushing the air through, and we can now disconnect from the external power from the airport. Okay. So now because we got a few tankfuls of AVCAT fuel, we're self-sufficient with power. So let's get ourselves facing a proper direction where we can taxi out of this stupid parking space. So if we go back here, and I haven't got all the shortcut keys to the cameras bound yet because I don't know what I'm doing really. Yeah, we need to be pushed backwards and to the left, so we're facing that way because you can't really reverse in a plane. So the way we can do this is we can go to air traffic control here, go to ground services, and we can request pushback.
Stansted ground BAW666 requesting pushback. Stansted ground BAW666, no pushback tug is available.
No, brilliant. No pushback tug is available. Right, so I'm going to have to go around the grass, aren't I? By the way, I'm not going to use air traffic control for this flight at all. I find it a bit buggy. Okay, so let's go back to our camera. Go for a cockpit cam and the pilot cam. Oh, don't know why it did that. So there's the pilot cam, and I like pressing space as well. Gives me a sort of better view out of the window. Okay, so let's set our flaps to 1. That's ready for takeoff. Let's put the engine up a little bit. Oh, we haven't started our engines, have we? What an idiot I am. Right, we've got the APU going. So what we need to do now is see this engine switch. We set that to start. Okay, and then we will click engine 2 there, and if we look at the eCam here, this is engine 2. We do engine 2 first on an Airbus, by the way, because engine 2 powers the hydraulics, and when it starts up you'll hear the hydraulics pressurizing themselves, and if you travelled on a real Airbus then you'll have heard that as well when you're being pushed back and the engines are starting. There we go. So what are we looking at here? Not much going on, is there? What have I forgotten? I think I know what I've forgotten. Let's turn the fuel pumps on, shall we? That's better. The engines prefer having fuel into them for some reason. There we go. You can see that going up now. What an idiot. I can't believe I forgot that. Reminds me of an old motorbike I had, an MZ I think, and it had a fuel tap on it. How many times I started it up and pulled away before turning the fuel tap on and then broke down. Right, so we want this to... there we go. You can hear the hydraulics. Let's just check the throttles are in idle. That looks a bit high actually. No, they're not at idle. Let's put the throttles at idle. Oh, it's very hard with this PS4 controller. Throttles are at idle. Okay. Something I should have checked is in the checklist. There is a checklist you can activate on here where you can go through and check everything. And I'm just showing you how much that I actually do need that. Right, engine 1 stable. Let's look at that, 29. Perfect. So let's go for engine number 2. And here we can see engine number 2's here. That's the exhaust gas temperature. That will rise up first. As soon as it's hot enough, the igniters will come through and light it, and then this will go up and get to 20 to 21. So we spent quite a bit of time already doing stuff, and we haven't moved yet. So it just shows you this is probably just a tip of the iceberg of what an actual pilot has to go through and check. Right, that's nearly there. Right, okay, so engine 1 and 2 are stable. Let's go back down here and put that back to normal. Okay, what else do we need to do? Our speed brake is armed, which we have to do for takeoff. Flaps are set to 1. I'm not going to do the squawk stuff or anything like that because I'm not using ATC. Let's put our auto brakes are on max already. Okay, anti-skid is on, so I think we're ready to taxi, to be honest. So let's pump the throttle up a little bit. Release the parking brake. And we'll put ourselves straight into a turn. Let's put space bar up. You know, I've also got to try and taxi to runway. God, I'm in the middle of sodding nowhere. I've got to taxi to runway 22, and I have no idea which way that's going to be. So let's stop for a minute. Let's look at which direction we're facing. So we'll put this to arc mode. So 22 is the runway, so that'll be going off at sort of 2 o'clock. And we're facing this way. Let's have a look at, trying to work it out. Let's have a look on the map. So yeah, this is 22, it's going down the bottom, so we need to take a right here to get onto the runway. So I presume I can go right here. I'm using my rudder to steer here. Can I go right here? I've no idea where I'm going, but let's just follow this yellow line. Slow down the throttle a bit. Oh, a bit too much. It's very hard using the PS4 controller to do your throttle. At least with a HOTAS or something, you can gauge the position on the stick, on the throttle control on the stick, as to exactly where you need to be. You can't on this. Okay, I'm guessing the runway is over here somewhere. Right, well that looks like it's going towards a fuel truck. Let's go along here. I've just seen a plane. So I reckon down here, hang a left, and then turn right. There, and I reckon we're good. Yeah, that looks like a runway in the distance. Could be wrong. Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it? Look at the lights there. Okay, well I reckon I'm going to go down here, and this should take me up to the beginning of it. And it looks like I'm going through the runway exit part, so yeah, look, I'm facing nearly 4 degrees there, so yeah, I'm going the opposite way to the way I want to take off, so that's encouraging.
Stansted ground, Ryanair 8027 taxi to parking. Ryanair 8027 taxi to general aviation.
Oh, yeah, we can hear the Ryanair is wanting to talk to ground control. Still doesn't seem like I'm anywhere near the start of the runway, does it? Look, it goes back for miles.
Taxiing to general aviation parking by taxiway Alpha Bravo Ryanair
Right,
8027.
let's brake here. Maybe we had to cross the runway. Oh, it's a very long one. Let's have a look. Let's hold short here. Put the parking brake on and just have a quick look out the window. Oh, and I can't see. Time to use the external cameras, and let's have a look from the co-pilot out of his window. Yeah, I still can't see. Let's move over. Oh, that's long enough to take off from. Okay, let's get back to pilot view. Right. Okay, so let's just, we probably entered the runway at the wrong point. Let's take off anyway. Our flaps are set. Parking brake released. Steering using the rudder controls. Let's get ourselves lined up in the centre roughly, and then we'll go for it. There you go, look, loads of runway. Okay, right, foot brake on. Throttle up to about 50%, just under. Okay, release the foot brake, and then take it up to toga, which is take off, go around, which is full throttle. Just use a rudder to keep ourselves on the runway. I find with this I need to push down on the elevator slightly. Right, I'm just looking at that. Okay, running out of runway, all of we're doing fine. We're at V1 and rotate, so let's just get in the air. Because I didn't put the flight director on, did I? So positive rate of climb, gear up. Okay. Once we get to 1500 feet, we will move the throttle into climb mode, which will be about now. That's in that notch there. And go back here. Pitch down slightly. Now we're off the ground. Okay, that's doing alright. We can now retract our flaps, 4,300 feet. And now we can engage the autopilot, which will set us on our course. A slight bug in this, so the autopilot pitches down a bit. Oh, auto throttle when he turned on. Oh, that's approach mode. Yeah, auto throttle is on. That's me being idiotic there. So auto throttle's on. When you're in climb or below, the auto throttle will manage the thrust for you. If you've got it on autopilot, obviously climb is the highest the auto throttle will go to. So if you set it like, if we have a look down here, if I set these thrusters halfway down, then the auto throttle can't exceed that speed. So climb, which is the CL notch here, which it clicks into, is the maximum speed for auto throttle. Right, looks like we're well on our way. Let's if we look here, there we're on our course here. That's all looking good. Coming out of Stansted into a load of clouds. We're using live weather, so this is what the weather is at the moment, but the actual time of day is wrong. Okay, we're not climbing very high at the moment because we haven't probably reached the speed we need to reach. So we'll get to the speed it needs to reach if we look here, which is purple, and then it will get to the climb. Right. Let's have a look at some external views while we're climbing. Well, I haven't set any key bindings up for any of this, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way with the mouse. So there we are. That British Airways pilot drinking while he's flying. We can minimise that. Go through these external cameras here. External one. Yeah, these are working well, aren't they? Oh, there we go. I can move it around this way. Then we've got the showcase cameras. It's positioned here. There's external two. It's right on the end of the wing. Slight fisheye effect there. Oh, we're getting some ice going here, actually. Let's go back to the cockpit and go to the reset position there. And go to 8. And let's turn on the anti-icing. Is it because we're not climbing very much? Yeah, we are. Yeah, those clouds are pretty icy. I should have done that earlier, actually, thinking about it. But we're over 6,000 feet, so we can reset our altimeter back to the standard, which is 2992 or 2992 in pilot speak. But in England, it would have been 1013. And we get that information from the website where we do the flex temp, which I'll show you in another video. Right, we're at about 20,500 feet. Let's go back to our external camera. We're now going above the clouds, more or less. I'm quite iced up there, really. It's my fault for being a bad pilot, not thinking ahead. This is the shot you always see in 80s films where they do the landing gear and everything before they come down. I'm not going to do the landing gear now at this height, obviously. That'd break it. Let's go through. I think I remember Shift A goes through the cameras, so we'll go through them backwards. Oh, look at the ice. All my fault. So there's a little bit of turbulence there. You can see the wing flexing there. Oh, I didn't set my tail number either. You can do that too. There we go. When I go on holiday, that's normally the exact view I get. It's just clouds. And yeah, this is often a view I get out the window, obviously without the ice. Oh, looks like the autopilot has taken us on to the next waypoint. And that's another view I often get sometimes when I'm on a plane behind the wing. Let's hope this anti-ice melts it all off. Yeah, look at the state of that. And that, God. Oh, luckily they're still working. And I've got the wings iced up as well. Christ almighty. Right, let's get back to our cockpit and let's see how we can monitor where we are in our flight plan. So let's go back to the cockpit there and go to pilot. The default view. So we're above the clouds, looking at this here. We're at cruising altitude. We're heading towards LVD. And we can see where we are by clicking this VFR map. That shows us exactly where we are. We're just crossing over near Dover. Probably, this looks like we're crossing over sort of near Pevensey area here. And then we're going to do a sharp right down here. And then obviously around all this way and then hopefully ending up at Charles De Gaulle. I'll pre-warn you now, this video is probably going to end badly. But anyway, so we can see we're 10.6 nautical miles away from this waypoint. And we'll hit that and we'll turn right. If we look at our flight management system, we can see on here where we are. We know that the top of descent is one of these BIBAX numbers, so I will probably do it at, seeing as we're all reasonably close and it changes our descent here, I'll probably, when we hit BIBAX, or just before we hit BIBAX, I'll change my altitude down to 4,000 feet. But we've got a while to go now, haven't we? So we're just about to hit LVD, and then we will turn right across the channel. I've just added terrain on there, but there isn't any terrain. It'd be nice to have the weather on there. I'm sure there's a way to do that, but I haven't figured it out. Okay, well, in the interests of boring the crap out of everybody, I will jump cut this video until we get almost at our top of descent. See, we're heading now, we've just hit UVD, we're heading to Wafu, then Hardy, and as you say, we can see all these in our waypoints here. Wafu, Hardy, Exodil, and then BIBAX. So, I will jump cut here until we're ready to start our descent. Alright, as you can see, we are about 5.5 nautical miles from Bivax. Let's just go up here and set our altitude down to 4,000. So we'll probably get a staged descent with a lot of these waypoints, but when there's nothing in there, it will default down to 4,000. So we've hit Bivax now. And now yeah, we're starting our descent now to 4,000, as you can see from there. Let's see how many waypoints we've got left to do. So we've got a reasonable amount to do. That's 6 to go. But yeah, we started our descent anyway. And the view is rubbish. Yeah, not nice at all, is it? So if you're a passenger, see, the de-icing worked really well, didn't it? This is what you'd be seeing if you're a passenger, just grey and a few cotton wool clouds underneath you. So this is live weather. So this is exactly what it's like right at this time over Paris. Oh, the ice has gone a little bit, I think. But my own stupid fault for not putting the de-icer on takeoff. Right. Let's see how we're doing on here. So what have we got? Just about to hit that waypoint. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're on our final approach. Now, as we've already put our approach into the flight management system, then that will have the ILS, the Instrument Landing System frequency, all ready for us. At what point do we hit decel? That's when it decelerates down. Because at the moment the flight management computer is not only managing our altitude in steps, even though I'm doing it 4,000, it will still, it will still manage it to some degree. It's also managing our heading direction, and it's managing our speed as well. So we've got auto throttle. So if we look here, look, it's managing our speed here. It knows we're descending and knows we're using nav, which means we're using the navigation from the flight management system. We're down to 17,000 odd feet. So we've got there, Biba 5, and then Colive. So we've got a flight level here, so we need to be at least down to 10,500 feet by the time we get to there. And then we got 3 more. So that's why I'm keeping it at 4,000. So by the time we get on final approach, we will be at 4,000, and we can intercept the instrument landing, the ILS glide slope, and I'll show you exactly what that is. Okay, well, we're going to slowly come round here, so I'll probably jump cut until we turn round and we're almost on final approach as we descend. Okay, we are almost on final approach. We've got 2 waypoints to go. One of them is a deceleration waypoint, and I'll go over the significance of that in a minute. Then we've got 19 until this one here, 19 nautical miles until this one, then a quick one after that, and then we're on final approach. So now you see we're on decel. That's a point our flight management computer puts in so we can decelerate and start activating flaps. So if you see that purple arrow there, that is our target speed. Once we get down to that, I will start activating the flaps, which will slow us down, add more drag to the aircraft. Let's start to configure ourselves for landing. So let's arm the spoilers. Okay, we want auto brake set to low because it's quite a long runway. Okay, so we're there. We start decelerating. We're at the target speed, so I'm going to extend the flaps by 1. As you'll see, because it's a very clever aircraft, speed decreases when flaps are extended, the target speed. We'll let that get down to there. What I might do is I might reduce the altitude to 3,000. Oops, too much there. We should start descending in a second. Okay, looking at our speed there, I'm safe enough to put some more flaps out. Because we're heading near the airport, I can go across to here and put the ILS information display. So we've tuned into the ILS. We're 25 miles from the, or nautical miles from the runway. So you can see on here, we haven't got far to go. This pink arrow is our ILS system. Obviously we need to turn left. It's to our left, so the approach. So we won't worry about that. We're going to let the autopilot handle that. Okay, we're 10 nautical miles from this waypoint. And then what should happen is we should see a pink diamond like that up here in our vertical speed, which is called the glide slope. That's basically an imaginary radio slope starting at the ground at the beginning of the runway and sloping upwards and guiding us into our exact descent path. So we should hopefully be getting that soon, and then we can intercept that. Okay, let's do some more flaps. See that red line there? That is the overspeed for that flap setting. Obviously we're nowhere near that, so we're going down to here, and we'll do full flaps for this landing because I'm such a shit pilot. So 7.5 nautical miles from the next waypoint, and then we'll be turning in. I might remove the terrain from this diagram actually. This makes it hard to see. So we're going this waypoint in 10 miles, then that's probably 1 or 2 roughly, and then straight in on the approach. Okay, we're doing all this without even looking. Let's have a look at our pilot window. I haven't had a look out there for a while. We've got a landing window there. Oh, there's nothing to see anyway. It's all cloud, isn't it? How dull. So we'll just rely on our instruments for now. What we could do, if we're good people, we will choose. Oh, there's no ATIS at the moment. I'm going to say we could tune Charles De Gaulle ATIS and get our altimeter readings, but we haven't got that option available at the moment. We're probably slightly too far away, even though 18 miles away from the runway shouldn't be that far. So we're going to have to wing it with this because I didn't beforehand find out what it should be from the very handy website. Right, 3.5 nautical miles to this waypoint, and then we'll be heading in for final by the looks of it. Can we see anything yet? Let's hit the space bar. A little bit out there. Let's put our camera to landing. It zooms us right in there. And yeah, there's no runway in sight, but at least we're below the clouds a bit. So I'm assuming that'll be once we pass this waypoint and we turn in. We should be roughly facing the runway, and then the ILS should guide us in nicely. Obviously, being a drunk British Airways pilot, I will do the last landing bit manually because I'm so reckless. Oh, here we go. Okay, now if you see that has moved in there, that's nearer the centre there, and we've got this one up here. So what I'm going to do in a minute is select approach hold mode, so they will line us up properly with this, and it will intercept this once we get low enough. Well, we get low enough. We're in range, so we intercept it. At the moment, because of the distance out we are, the glide slope is a lot higher. If I'd have kept it at 4,000, we could have intercepted it a bit lower, but not to worry. Let's put approach hold on. And that should line us up a bit better this way. And as we can see the runway right in front of us. Absolutely nothing there. We're going to have to wait for this to come down. As we get nearer, this will come down, and then we'll intercept it, and then we will follow. Oh, here we go. It's started to lower a bit now. So let's just do a couple of checks while we're here. Water brakes set to low, yep, and spoilers arms. Let's do here. Spoilers, speed brake is armed. I can't remember how we do spoilers on this, so I'm probably going to be landing without them. Okay, we're almost able to intercept the vertical glide slope. Our speed's looking good. Just about 145 knots. Okay, so once we intercept this, we should start following that, because we've got the approach hold on here that we've done. There we go. We've just intercepted it, and look, there we go. We can see our vertical speed is dropping. So we will now descend in alignment with this. So if we look out of our window,
2,500.
I still can't see make out any sign of a runway. I'm sure there's one in there somewhere. This would be an amazing bug if it lands us on a runway that doesn't exist in the terrain. So yeah, look, we're following this down. We're 2,500 feet. Okay, so what I'm going to do in a minute is get ready to take over from the autopilot for the landing. One thing is I have to turn the auto throttle off and the autopilot off. So how are we doing? We are 5 miles from the airport. Let's put our gear up. While we do that, let's put our nice camera view on here. Trying to find the right one, so let's shift A until we get it. There we go, we'll put our gear down. Here we go. Okay, gear down. There we go. Still not a little bit heading. I think just here below the wheel there is the runway we're going to land on. Right, 1,000 feet. Oh yes, we can see a runway now. Our barometric pressure is probably totally wrong, so I'm going to set this up a bit. Let's just check it's not. Yeah, we're still on the glide slope, see, vertically and horizontally. I've got my PS4 controller here ready to do the landing. 500 feet. We're pretty much in line. The ILS is doing a pretty good job.
400.
Right, I'm going to take auto throttle off.
300.
And it's gone high, but I'm winding it down. And let's take autopilot off.
200.
And let's guide her in.
100. 60. 50.
Flare up.
40.
Oh, I think I had the throttle too high. I'm going to run out of runway. Ah.
30. 20. Retard. 5.
Right, reverse thrusters. Oh, I've only gone and done it, look. Oh, and I can steer around to the taxiways. There we go. I think we've done it. That was lucky there. That was a very, very bad landing. Yeah, I messed the throttle up when I took it off autopilot. It went up to climb mode. I don't know where I'm going to taxi this thing to either. So let's just find somewhere that looks reasonably busy. And then we'll do the correct power off procedure. Right, so while we're here, oh, come to a stop. There we go, there's a bit of a bump to get over there. Let's change the cockpit view to the normal pilot one. Okay, and we need to start the APU up while we're here. Oh, we never turned it off. That's my idiotic mistake. Right, let's find somewhere where a plane is and then we'll stop there. There obviously are proper gates and you can get jetway and everything out. I never really demonstrated that before, but we'll... I'm just surprised off that cock up with the throttle. I managed to land the plane without breaking it. So yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Right, oh, there's another British Airways just there. Let's go and park near there. Oh, and there's jetways here as well. almost there. Follow this taxiway round. Run over the truck for a laugh. We'll go over here. Yeah, he's fair play to these pilots for memorising all the taxiways and knowing exactly where to go, because I haven't got a Scooby. I'm just going to go here, screw it. There we go here, put the foot brake on, throttle down to 0, parking brake on. And what we'll do, we've got the APU going already, so we can actually turn off the engines. As soon as the APU's on, so we go here, we'll turn off the engines. They're off. Okay, we can go back up here. I should have done landing lights and all that. I didn't bother with any of that either because I'm such an idiot. Should have done that, but I didn't. So what can we request from ground control, ground services? Oh, nothing. Just a jetway connection. No, no external power or anything. Oh, they can't do it anyway. Okay, well I screwed that up, so let's assume I've kicked all the passengers off. So what we'll do is we'll put our flaps back, like that, as you can hear. Okay. Speed brake doesn't need to be armed anymore. Oh. Okay, nothing much here. Flaps are sorted, gears sorted. So I probably missed a shitload of things out. So APU off, de-icing off, and APU master switch off. So we're now running on batteries. Well, we've got to wait for the APU to wind down. If we look at the eCam and click APU, it does take a while to wind down. I should have done that once we had our engine started when we took off. But I didn't because I'm a dick. So yeah, that's going to just wind down. That's a new thing in this new improved Neo that third party that I downloaded. So the APU acts much more realistically. See, there we go, it's going down. So now all we need to do, now the passengers are off, because I'm a British Airways pilot, I want to get off this plane and go down the pub. Let's just turn that light off. Turn off the strobe lights. Turn off the logo lights and nav lights. Turn off the landing lights. Oh, God almighty, this is possible. Okay, what's this one here? Runway lights, that should have been on anyway. Okay, so you can hear the APUs off. We're just running on batteries. We'll turn these off. And we are back to a cold, dark plane. And yes, I'm off down the pub because I'm British Airways to bang a stewardess. Right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I know I made a shitload of mistakes and missed out a lot of procedure, but I haven't had this game very long, and I haven't really played a flight sim since FSX. And even when I had FSX, the computer I had at the time wasn't really powerful enough to play it properly, so I didn't play it all that much. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully the next video I do in this series will be a little bit more technical. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.